Pancreatic cancer is one of the world's deadliest cancers with a survival rate of just 8%. By 2030, it's predicted that it will be the second leading cause of cancer deaths in Australia.
However, the Avner Pancreatic Cancer Foundation is hoping to change that and has just awarded lead researchers funding to pursue cutting-edge treatments. To tell us about it, we're talking now with Conjoint Clinical Professor David Goldstein from the University of New South Wales. Thanks so much for coming in this morning, David.
Jo and Andrew, thanks for inviting me.
Could you just paint us a picture of the situation when it comes to pancreatic cancer in Australia?
So there are two key problems that make it one of the most difficult cancers that we have to treat. It's difficult to diagnose early, so it's often picked up very late when it's widespread and very hard to manage. And secondly, it's learnt a lot of tricks that perhaps in excess of many other cancers. And I guess the third thing is because it's been a relatively uncommon cancer, difficult to treat, affecting an older age group, it's not had as much attention from a research point of view over the last 20 or 30 years, and whereas breast and bowel cancer and prostate have had tremendous amounts of research for which the dividends, and a really good example, melanoma, are really starting to happen and death rates are falling dramatically. Pancreas cancer is now starting to be recognised an area that needs to be addressed, and these grants represent an example of what we hope will provide the same dividends we've seen with those other cancers.
Let me pick you up on two of those issues you've mentioned. Difficult to diagnose and difficult to treat. Why is that?
So the difficult to diagnose is very vague symptoms, abdominal discomfort, some weight loss, some back pain. These are very common issues that are really often associated with no cancer. And so picking out that one person in 20 that's actually got those symptoms because of a pancreas cancer is a difficult thing to do.
And is that why the survival rate is so low? Because by the time it is diagnosed, it's perhaps too late.
So there's that problem. And the second is that because it takes a bit of time to make the diagnosis, the cancer learns a whole bunch of new skills. And one of the key skills that these grants are addressing is the ability to co-opt the surrounding environment, the normal cells, to help it do its job better. And one of the key interests in this particular grant and several others that UNSW and many researchers around the world are involved with is turning attention away from the cancer and its inbuilt multiple genetic changes which are hard to target every single one. One trapdoor closed, another one opens within the tumour. But the environment is relatively stable. If you can switch that off and starve the tumour from doing its job, this is a new way of thinking and may, or we actually believe, will provide dividends.
So what are the current treatment options available for people who have already been diagnosed?
So those who are diagnosed early enough, and that's about 1 in 5, is surgery, and that's curative in a proportion of those people. Radiation and chemotherapy assist in the cure rate for those who have surgery. In particular, novel chemotherapies, a dividend of work done a decade ago, have improved the survival rate of those who get the operation, about doubling the survival rate actually in the last few years compared to a decade ago. So they're the key treatments now, but the big area of interest is what we call targeted therapy and immune therapy. So this has not been as successful in pancreas cancer as it has been in melanoma.
Because there have been terrific advances in immunotherapy, haven't there? And that's essentially what enhancing the body's capability, its immune system in fighting the disease itself.
Correct. But the problem is you have to have a receptive tumour that cares about immune attack. And so where we've been really successful, led by Australian researchers, is melanoma, because it particularly sends out signals that I am susceptible. Pancreas cancer signals are not as strong, and so one area of research is co-opting the surrounding environment to make the pancreas cancer more visible. And we hope that that will change the ability of the immune system, which is not doing well in this area, to become more important.
When you talk about hope, where is that hope based for the next sort of 10 years and with these grants? what do you hope for over that time?
What I really hope over that time is that that fourth area of cancer treatment, what we call targeted therapy, very specifically directed against the genetic changes, and the immune system will be harnessed in a way it's not been possible to do, nor did people as recently as a few years ago see any way forward.
There are, and we probably should have started with this, the role of the pancreas itself, because obviously if you're diagnosed with cancer, the pancreas, it's going to severely compromise its ability.
Correct. So this is a major digestive organ, so nutrition, strength, it's really why people start to lose weight, become weak. It's because it disturbs the entire body's regulation. It's a very important organ.
Professor, we'll have to leave it there. Thanks so much for coming in
Okay,
this morning.
thank you for inviting me.